Welcome back to another episode. I'm excited to bring another solo episode today, diving more into the mastermind that we started for this quarter, sharing how it's going and really why we decided to launch it in the first place. So good news is, if you missed this one, we're going to be launching future ones upcoming this year in 2025 and of different degrees. So some will be geared towards newer investors, and other masterminds we're going to focus on will be geared towards higher level investors, minimum net worth, minimum unit count, or minimum income, so that we can put the right minds in the right room to be able to collaborate and go farther together. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. We'll talk about the mastermind and much more. So I'm super excited to dive into today's topic, and I've talked about it before in previous podcasts. If you've listened in before, you've definitely heard me dive into the mastermind, and especially on social media. We launched our first Real Estate Mastermind. This was running, we started it in January 1st of 2025. It's running for the whole first quarter of 2025 through the end of March. And so far, it's been awesome. I'm loving the connections that we're making, the conversations that people are having, and the feedback that we're getting. Ultimately, Ben Carbone and I decided to start this mastermind. We actually got the inspiration from a conference down in Florida. We went to a real estate conference. It was the Clever Summit. So if you know of Clever Investor, they're a nationally recognized real estate community focused on investing. And the event had about 2,000 attendees, guests like Ryan Serhant and Patrick Bet-David and all these big names in real estate that ultimately inspired us to start this mastermind. And really, the true inspiration came from the idea around the real estate community that, people pool their resources to go farther together. Whether that's on the deal side, you see a lot of people getting into syndications now. That's sharing and pooling resources from the funding standpoint and really from the management standpoint, people coming together to tackle projects. I think that is awesome about the real estate community is that people really do take an emphasis on collaborating. But from the beginning, we felt like there wasn't anything at the beginning stage. Like you see investor groups or investor meetups and there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of networking. You might share some resources, but there's nothing that really focuses on that entry-level investor and gives them not only some sort of framework as to how you can get in real estate investing, what's the most effective way to do so, here are some of the concepts of higher level investors, but put them in the right room with other people who are thinking like they are. And there's a quote that you've probably seen that I truly hold to heart as something that's truly impactful in your life, and it's you're the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with. And I truly believe that's 100% applicable. And especially when it comes to business and real estate and investing, if you put yourself around other people who are asking similar questions and on the same path as you, you absolutely will go much farther and you will go much farther quicker. So we were looking for some opportunity to put a bunch of people in a room who want to build generational wealth and who understand that real estate is a great vehicle to do that. So that's what we did. Ultimately, our mastermind right now consists of about 13 people, all at various stages in their investing career, running it for the entire quarter. We meet once a week. We have a private group chat that we're all engaging in, on a daily basis in terms of content we're seeing online or investment philosophy, throwing deals back and forth. It's really been an awesome experience to see people come together and just try to learn more about real estate investing. And not only real estate investing, we've had a lot of conversations about businesses in general, talking about owning and operating restaurants. We actually had an in-person meetup as a group, our first one about a month ago. And in the conversation, we're sitting in this restaurant and people are saying, I wonder how much the space costs to rent. So we started doing the math. We know the commercial lease rate in the area is X amount per square foot. We're looking at the square footage in the building. And we start going into operating costs and then margins on the restaurant. Wonder how much this restaurant is making. Well, restaurant sells pizza, which actually has very high margins relative to other foods. Similar with, their main source of revenues likely from liquor, which they do push pretty heavily. So we're going back and forth on basically underwriting this business. And I thought that was really cool to have a conversation like that brought to another group of people who might not otherwise have had that conversation. And that's really why we wanted to start, the mastermind, is to be able to take our experiences and bring them to other people so we can help them achieve, their goals that they were looking to accomplish, which in this case is real estate specific, but I'm excited to see that conversation continue to evolve in potentially other business ventures. Now, if you've never joined a mastermind, the idea of a mastermind does differ from a course. Now, we understood this, but we wanted to try to find a way to blend the two together. So ultimately, the mastermind consists of course-like material that we then take to the group, to roundtable, bring our thoughts together, and get some of that mastermind type interaction in each and every one of our sessions. A true mastermind might be individuals coming together, talking about common questions, common goals, common objectives, and together the thoughts in the room, curate the learning experience. You're learning from other people, other perspectives, other experiences. And we wanted to take the idea of a coursework and combine the two together. And I think we've done a really nice job of giving people not only a roadmap to succeed, but at the same time, bringing people together to allow shared experiences as another platform for growth. So if this is something that sounds appealing to you, definitely reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me pretty much anywhere. If you Google Ryan Richards with North Point Mortgage, get my cell phone number. Obviously, all my contact info is in the show notes, but we're going to be hosting this type of mastermind geared towards newer investors, anyone who owns between 0 and 6 units, once every year. So the first quarter of every year, we'll be hosting this mastermind. Would love for more of you to join and be involved in the growth that we're bringing to the table. So I'm really excited to look at the next phase of the mastermind and bring it to high level. So we want to take the next phase of the mastermind sometime the end of 2025, be geared towards high producing operators, high level business professionals who have a certain, stature, certain net worth, certain income, and put a bunch of high producing people in a room together so that we can collaborate, share experiences, share resources, and ultimately create some long lasting relationships and hopefully some partnerships. So if that excites you, definitely reach out to me as well. I would love to start the conversation there because I'm definitely excited to dive into it. So hopefully learn more about the mastermind, what we have in store, things we got going on, and hopefully it inspires you to join the next one next year. Thank you as always for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.